Hey everybody, Mr. Moonlight here for part 2, and boy did people not like the title of part 1. And as you can tell from the title of this one, I am going to stand by it. But first off, I'll say pretty much everybody was civil. A few were salty. You could tell pretty much everybody was angry in one form or another. So I want to address a little bit of my statement. I started out the last video by saying I can't do it anymore. I can't keep pretending that Alien 3 is good. Now, people saw that in the title and they just kind of, well, I think they took it a little personally because they liked the movie, and that is not what I'm after. This is not a personal attack on any of the fans, and that's why I put in the title, it is okay to like this movie. But I am also entitled to say it's not a good movie. And I believe that subjectively, not just objectively, but subjectively, as I elaborated in the last video as well. And I'm allowed to critique that video. And really, people, there were some great suggestions for alternative titles, and thank you to the people who did that because they were genuinely trying to help. One of them was, Alien 3 Deconstructed, I think. That's not what I'm doing here, or Examined or something like that. This isn't a deconstruction, because a deconstruction is going through and creating a thesis around the film based on what you see in the different parts and how you think they add up. This isn't a thesis in terms of the movie itself. This is a thesis in terms of why I think the movie was a failure, both as a standalone movie and as the third installment of what should have been a trilogy. So again, hey, you know what? It's the internet. You got to wear your cup when you're on the internet. I knew that going in. But I want to be clear that I am not attacking people who like this movie. I, again, know people who worked on this movie. I know people who love this movie. I think that there was a lot of extraordinary talent that went into this movie. And, hey, so while I'm at it, why don't I just go over what I did like about this movie? Because, again, like I said in the first video, the movie is an interesting phenomenon, how I believe you can have all the right ingredients, but they might not be the right ingredients for what you're cooking. They had the best ingredients for this movie. They had top-tier acting talent. Sigourney Weaver was fantastic. Charles Dance was phenomenal. Charles Dutton is a great actor. And a lot of the actors who are in it, their names elude me, but they're all fantastic standout actors who have since done great roles. That some of them did great roles before. It's not on them. They turn great performances out. The camera work is beautiful. I watched a bunch of behind the scenes about how David Fincher worked hand in hand with his cinematographer. And they really, I think more than anything, they cared about the cinematography for this movie. And they did an outstanding job. Really top-notch work. There's no denying that. I'm in awe of the thought process that went behind crafting the cinematography for this movie. Having said that, I think that the cinematography for this movie was all wrong. It was just the wrong place, for this movie, and I will explain that more. But let's keep on. Let's go on to the effects. Now, I'm a bit biased. I have worked for Studio ADI, but before I did, and I only worked briefly as a social media person, so I don't have any huge standing in the company. But Tom and Alec are great guys. But Alien 3 was the first time I really noticed the effects in terms of who did this, and I went to explore more about how these effects were done. I thought the practical effects were great. I thought that the Lance Henriksen animatronic Bishop was, I mean, I was just blown away by that. I could not believe that that wasn't a real live person, even though there was too much torn away for that to be possible. But the way it moved was so realistic. Just a brilliant piece, and I actually think it probably would have deserved the Oscar that it was nominated for, but they won for Death Becomes Her, so, you know, what are you going to do? I even like the rod puppet. Now, the optical compositing, which was a chemical process, it wasn't a digital process. A lot of people say it was bad CGI, but it was pushed to the limits of what it could do at the time. That was state-of-the-art experimental technology, and I absolutely loved it. I thought that the puppet itself moved beautifully, to the point where I would actually like to see, if they do another Aliens movie, which I kind of, again, this is my opinion. So, you know, I know there are people that disagree with this, but I feel like there really shouldn't be another Aliens movie, at least for a while. We need to rest. We're too concerned with cranking out the next one, getting the next one into the franchise, or, you know, Neil Blomkamp's got his kind of revision of Alien 3, which tells me he's probably on my side of this as well. And you have Ridley Scott. You know, it's just, everyone's kind of like trying to jump in, and I think we need some time to really consider what the best thing for this franchise would be. And I don't think we're going to do that if we keep cranking out these movies. We need to sit on it for a while. You know, go to some other things. There's some great ideas out there that just aren't getting their due because, you know, we're all paying attention to the next Alien franchise. Anyway, I digress. What else do I love about this movie? Well, God, I can't say the practical effects twice. So the camera work, the acting, but again, when I say this movie is not a good movie, I know that that's kind of blunt. It's a little, I think I said Christopher is brutally honest. Look, there's no point in me pulling punches. They're not even punches, really. This is just how I feel about it. I have, and I'm going to kind of stick up for myself here. I'm going to stick up for the other people who love Aliens and feel slighted by Alien 3. When Alien 3 first came out, we were super excited about it. I got an advance ticket. I got to see it before its actual release. And I was so super excited. I loved Alien. I thought Aliens, as I explained in the last video, was a great logical progression for the franchise. And so when Alien 3 came out, I was ready. I went into the theater loving this movie already. I wanted to love it. And when I came out, I was so shocked at how disappointing it was, not because of the quality, but because the people who made it didn't feel the same way about the first two movies that I felt. They felt that maybe they could do better, I don't know, or they felt that they had a better take. But at that point, I feel like it became about them and what they thought. The franchise had progressed beautifully with its sequel, and audiences agreed. The movie was a huge success, and it remains a classic that has influenced the genre to this day. So when you take on another sequel, and again, I'm not pointing the finger directly at David Fincher here. We all know, any Alien fan knows, that there was a lot of studio input, and David Fincher was fighting that. So who knows? And again, hey, David Fincher hates this movie too. A matter of fact, I think there's a quote that says, like, no matter how much you feel you hate Alien 3, I hate it more. I actually don't hate it. I just feel incredibly disappointed by it because it was shaping up to be something that could have been one of the greatest trilogies since the original Star Wars trilogy. And the ball got dropped. Now, how do I say this? again, there's a lot to love about this movie, but when you go in to make a sequel, you've got to be thinking about servicing the material. You cannot make it about you and how you think it should go and what you think it should be. A lot of people, a lot of fans feel like Alien 3 is a return to what Alien should have been. But that's another video. Today, like I said, I just wanted to say, like, I'm going to stand by my title. It's not meant to insult anybody. A good friend of mine suggested that it might be insulting to them. Look, I have an opinion. I feel like we shouldn't let ourselves feel insulted by people's opinions. I know there's certainly a lot of people out there that don't worry about if I'm insulted by their opinion. And every time I've stated how much I love Aliens, the second Alien installment, I get a lot of flack for it without apology. And I take it because, you know what? Again, it's just a movie. It's a movie I love very much. But it's not anything that is going to change my enjoyment of it if somebody has a different opinion. Like I said, sometimes people get a little bit rude about it, but you know what? I come from a group of friends. We just, like I say, you got to wear your cup around them too. We give each other a hard time all the time. We're very blunt with one another. And, when you're used to that, it's not a big deal. And I can't bring myself to change my attitude towards that if it becomes a big deal to other people. But having said that, change my mind. Stick around. This is not meant to be an attack on anybody. This is meant to be a critique of a film that I think should have been better. And I believe that as a filmmaker, and if there are any other filmmakers watching, they can think about how it could be better too. I mean, it can always be better. I could actually talk about how things could have been better for the original Alien. People talk about logic leaps in Aliens. There's logic leaps in the original Alien and in Alien 3. Alien Resurrection is just one huge logic leap. But I actually will say this about Alien Resurrection again. I don't mind Alien Resurrection as a standalone film. Like if somebody put like some film grain on it, some film scratches, and put in that Grindhouse, like now our feature presentation thing, and just said like we're doing a Grindhouse version of Aliens, be a great time. There's really you can't beat up on that stepson. It's not fair. But Alien 3, anyway, on with the show. How long have I been rambling on? Like I said, I'm going to stand by this 13 minutes. That's not bad for me. I'm standing by it. I'm standing by the title. I don't think it's a good movie. I spent a lot of time trying to pretend to myself that it was to make myself feel better. And then I started to notice that other people were doing it too. You want to love this movie. You want it to be great. And you want it to be great. And you want it to really, be satisfying. But it's almost like I said, it's like you walk into that movie theater and it's like they're saying, we know you enjoyed this, so we're going to enjoy squashing it in front of you. And I know not everybody got that. Some people are like, yeah, let's squash it. That's what we want. Okay, fine. But don't be mad at us Aliens fans if we're, feel a little salty about it ourselves. Again, we're not hating on anybody. It's just a movie. We can all go and have coffee or beer afterwards. No problem. But now, ladies and gentlemen, we continue. And I want to talk about, where is he? Clemens. Is that his name? Am I mixing up their names? Okay, so this is actually one of the number one problems that I've had with the movie the entire time. I have watched Alien 3 over 100 times. Many of those viewings were me trying to convince myself that I did love this film, like I said. I still don't know who half the people are. They're all shaved heads. running around in the dark. They're all wearing pretty much the same thing. And someone will get killed, and then the next thing I know, they're alive again. Or at least that's how it comes off. But this is the number one issue that I had at first, is we have who is shaping up to be the companion for Ripley. Now I know was it Dylan, Charles Dutton's character, ends up being that person, and there's no arc here. There's an imitation of an arc. There is, we're getting to know him as a character, so we attach ourselves to him as a character. We at least expect his death to mean something if he dies. And this is what I was talking about before about nihilism. You see him get killed off, and they're starting to build him up. It's a relationship building between these two. He's looking out for her. She's warming up to him in the nicest possible way. And then suddenly he's got this backstory. And this is something that bothers me as a writer. The backstory, which incidentally was lifted off of the backstory for Kane in the original Alien. Kane had a very similar backstory where he was like a really smart guy who got into drugs or alcohol, something like that, and screwed up his career, and he kind of hit rock bottom and then had to pick himself back up and become, make something of himself again. They took that story and, he hit rock bottom and became a prisoner, and then he opted to stay on. So he tells this big sob story about who he is. And it's like, people who have talked about this, how great it is and how it is just such great character development. He's the most developed character in the Aliens franchise. I totally disagree. Backstory is not character development. Character development was starting to happen between he and Ripley. That story might have meant something if it had become part of an arc, if there was somehow a way that he could redeem himself. Like, if he had survived and they had tried to trap the alien using the fire, and a bunch of people got injured and he managed to save them, or maybe he, in the midst of trying to save them, the alien attacks, the little hospital ward where he's trying to recover people, and he sacrifices himself to protect the prisoners, where he could have run and let them die and save himself. That would have been a satisfactory character arc for him. But instead, they've got him just, giving an injection, and the alien comes and kills him. End of that story. You just wasted a bunch of our time. Now, again, I hear the people saying, but it raises the stakes. Anybody can die. Well, okay, fine. Anybody can die, sure. But again, put some thematic meaning. Make us care. When he died, my thought was, okay, I guess nothing matters. And people go like, no, it's so unexpected. It makes it more scary. Didn't make it more scary. And that's another thing. Alien 3 was not scary. If you're trying to call back to Alien, the original Alien, this movie has nothing on Alien for scariness. I'm sorry. There was not a single moment in this movie where I felt any kind of fear or tension. As far as his death being unexpected, adding an unexpected element to the movie, all I keep thinking to myself is, you're right. I totally didn't expect you to take a perfectly good character and crap all over it. Sorry. Again, I'm being blunt. I know I'm ruffling some feathers. Please don't take it personally. It's just a movie. I'm critiquing the movie. If this is the kind of thing that you enjoy, that's fine. But as a writer, as someone who understands character arcs and screenwriting, it falls apart. I'm saying that subjectively, not objectively. It absolutely is a wasted character. And if you're going for, the angle of, well, it's realism, people just, die suddenly. Yes, they do. In real life, they do. Movies are not real life. Movies are stories. and stories should be well crafted and engage the audience and make them care. I did not care when he died. I only felt frustration that not only was I denied the link to the full trilogy story arc by having Newton Hicks yanked out from underneath me, but every time they would tease me with the idea of a story or character that would make me care, they'd yank that one away too. By the time we get to Dylan, I don't care. And Dylan is another character who, for me, is... Yes, there's a character arc there with him, but it feels so contrived. Where is he? Where's Dylan? Did I have him in here? No, he's not in here. I didn't plan to talk to him in this video. But, you know... And then we get this moment. And this moment actually was the... When I saw this in the trailer, man, was I excited. And, okay, so... And here's the thing. This is actually a stop-motion piece. This is like the one stop-motion element in the entire franchise. They used stop-motion for this one moment, where everything else was either a rod puppet or Tom Woodruff Jr. in a suit. This was a great moment, but again, it's like this beautifully shot, iconic moment that is just denied any real meaning, aside from the fact that when you see it in the trailer, you think, well, crap, if the alien's that close to Ripley, how on earth is she going to get out of that one? Well, we know, which is, by the way, should I say spoiler in every video? Anyway, spoiler. She's got a baby alien inside of her. Now, that, again, is probably worth another video in itself, because people have complained about the life cycle of the alien in the Aliens movies, yet she's got one in her for probably what ends up being like weeks. I don't know how long she's supposed to be there for, but she's there for quite some time. At least a good week, the way the movie seems to play out. Maybe that's because it's a queen, who knows, but she's got one in her. She's impregnated with one before the dog or the ox or whatever is. Sorry about that. It's my phone. And then she's, and then that dog or ox gives birth, and she's still just hanging out, going like, there's one inside me, I don't know. I'm going off on a tangent here, and I shouldn't, but that's enough for now. Like I said, that's my problems with the Mr. Clemens aspect of this film. It was really a wasted opportunity, and I felt it was, again, I understand that there were a lot of problems on the set, there were a lot of problems with production, and I understand that David Fincher did his damn best to make the most of it, and it was an impossible situation. But I'm not looking at it from that point of view. I'm just looking at it from the view of somebody who watched the movie and doesn't know any of that stuff. Because the audience doesn't, ultimately the normal audience, the fans know, and filmmakers, they look into this stuff too. But the normal audience, it doesn't matter to them. Only matters that they're getting a satisfying story. And by satisfying, by the way, I don't mean happy ending. Satisfying means it all comes full circle, everything connects, there are no loose ends, and so we're going to talk about them more in the next video. Again, I want to thank everybody who commented. Like I said, I know some of you were salty about it, but for the most part, you guys were civil. A few of you were a little like, everyone else is being civil, so I guess I can only kind of just give a little barb here or there, but you guys were great, and I'm not doing these videos to disrespect you or say you're wrong for liking these. I guess I've said that enough times. If you don't like these, just ignore it. You don't need to say anything. You don't need to watch the video. But if you do watch the video and you want to talk about it, talk about it on the, in the subjective grounds. Don't just say, so-and-so's a Mickey Mouse character, or this was stupid. Give me, I know you can do it. Break it down. Break down what it is you like about it. Break down why it works. I'll listen. Maybe I'll learn something, or maybe I'll address it myself and give you my thoughts on it. So thank you everybody for watching. hit subscribe, the notification bell, and give this a thumbs up. Someone gave my last video a thumbs down. I know you didn't watch it. I know you were just mad about it. Listen, it's okay. It's okay to be mad. All right? We can still be friends. All right. Cheers, guys. Be back here for part 3, where I'm going to talk about... I don't know what I'm going to talk about. What do you want me to talk about? You probably want me to shut up. Might talk about this guy. The not bishop, not android something or other. All right. Take care, guys.